Hello and welcome to another podcast with me, James Walters, owner of Border Terrier Stanley and promoter of all things dog friendly via our Dog Friendly magazine and website. I'm here with Steve Bennett, long-time owner of Whippets and founder of the Dog Friendly business in 2003. The Doggy Podcast with Steve and James. In this week's podcast, we talk about dog-friendly shopping. We chat to the Centre Director of Clark's Village in Street, Somerset, where dogs are positively encouraged to visit. Clark's Village was recently crowned the most dog-friendly shopping centre in the UK in our DogFriendly Awards. The shopping outlet has more than 90 brands from designer names and high street favourites, plus places to eat, which include well-known brands such as Rituals, Levi's, Barber, Sweaty Betty, a new Bill's restaurant, and Cafe Nero, who all allow dogs, to name just a few. We will also talk to Kareen Higgins, who is owner of Dudley, a Hungarian Vizsla who was recently crowned CEO or Canine Executive Officer of the outlet after being entered and winning its Awesome Pooch competition. Steve, we've noticed a few shopping centres that now allow dogs. Do you think there's a growing trend, or is this a bit of an exception?
No, I do think it's a growing trend, and I think we recognise that this year in the awards by actually having a separate category for dog-friendly shopping centres, which is the first time we've done that since we started the awards. And we did that because we saw more and more taking part in the general awards. And I think when you see what I would call iconic shopping centres and outlet stores like Clark's Village actually starting to welcome dogs, and even Battersea Power Station's new shopping centre is dog friendly, it makes me feel that what we've been saying for many years, and so have many others, is that if you're going out for the day and you're a dog owner or your family has a dog, if you've got the dog with you, you are more likely to spend more time in the venue because you don't have to worry about getting back for the dogs. Are they okay? And therefore you spend more money. So not only does it improve the ambience, I believe, of the shopping centre if there are dogs around, I think it makes absolute commercial sense to welcome dogs as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a trend, and as we've always advocated, we feel dogs are good for business. So hello, Chris and Kareen. Thank you so much for joining us to talk about Clark's Village and about welcoming dogs to the outlet.
Hello.
Hello.
Chris, you're the centre director. How long have you been at Clark's Village, and how long has it been dog friendly? I know it was established about 30 years ago in 1993.
Yeah, that's correct. So I've been here for, it's 11 years this August, actually, so quite some time. And I remember starting sort of my first part-time job here back when I was about 18, 19 as well. So I've kind of followed Clark's Village on its journey, not quite 30 years, but sort of near there. So we're I think it's like 32 years old this year, 31, 32. So it's we kind of started the trend of outlets in the UK. We were the very first one, and actually we've been dog friendly ever since day one, which is great.
Wow. Actually, it's quite interesting, Chris, that you've been there since you're 18 years old. So you really sort of followed the story a little bit, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I grew up in Wales, which is probably about sort of 15 minutes away from Street. And obviously had a few part-time jobs, and one of which was at Clark's Village, and then did the usual thing, moved away to London and Manchester and Liverpool, and then found myself back here just over sort of 12, 13 years ago, and managed to get back into Clark's Village, and that's kind of led me through to the role that I'm in now, which is good.
Okay, and tell us a little bit of history behind Clark's Village. I understand it's linked to the shoe retailer, but for those of us who don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, Clark's Village, like I said, has been here over 30 years now, and basically the Clark's footwear guys, they had some redundant space in Street, and wandering around on the MD was wandering around on his lunchtime, and sort of started to contemplate what might happen to that redundant space, and thought, okay, actually, I've got some friends in retail. Why don't we open a handful of shops and offer sort of outlet product, outlet prices, and basically, opened a shopping centre, very affordable shopping centre for both Clark's business to actually build and create, and then for shoppers to actually shop in and around at the discount prices. And it's kind of evolved from there. So Clark's, other than having the what I believe to be the world's biggest Clark's store here on site, Clark's no longer have too much to do with the actual asset itself. The asset's owned by Landsec, so one of the biggest property companies in the UK, and that's obviously who I work for. So yeah, it's evolved hugely over the sort of 30 years and grown from sort of a handful of shops to just over 90 now, which is amazing.
Dan, do you have a dog yourself, Chris?
I do, yeah. I wasn't a dog owner up until about sort of 6 months ago. I've never had dogs sort of growing up as a family and stuff, but my wife has. She's always had golden retrievers. So about a year ago, we started to consider taking the plunge and looking at getting a dog and getting a dog that might be the right sort of fit for our family. And I've got two daughters, so two young daughters. So we wanted to get one that would enjoy being around our daughters. So we did a lot of research, and we came to the conclusion that a working Cocker Spaniel was a dog for us. And he's a year old, actually 2 days ago.
And what's his name?
His name's Ezra.
So in terms of Clark Village, it's relating to its location in the southwest. Do you think that's a particularly dog-friendly, very dog-friendly region? Do you think that's kind of a reason why Clark's Village kind of developed as dog-friendly from the start?
Yeah, I think so. I think one of the key things is the asset itself. It's there's a lot of space. We're based on just over 25 acres of land. We've got great green space around here. There's no sort of space that's under cover other than the actual shops themselves. So we've got lots of green grass. We've got amazing trees here. We kind of the environment lends itself to being very dog friendly, which is amazing. We kind of, all those years ago, from what I understand, it was thought about, and we wanted to cater for the local people that just wanted to take their dogs out for a dog walk and grab a coffee. But then also, as the centre's kind of developed, we picked up more of a tourist footfall. And, we'll have tourists from all over the country, be it Cornwall, Birmingham, Liverpool, wherever. And we obviously, we wanted to make sure that our guests can bring their dogs and actually, take them out of the car and bring them in and around, and the dogs get to enjoy the environment as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. If they're, traveling somewhere and they stop by use, that they're going to want to bring the dog in with them, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that, to actually enjoy the environment and for it to be non-stressful, that's a really key thing for us. And just being able to, plan your visit, around the whole family, including the dog. And as you kind of said earlier, really, you don't have to restrict time to make sure that you get home to, be able to let the dog out or feed and whatnot. So yeah, just kind of trying to make that whole retail environment inclusive for everyone, really.
Yeah, I can confirm that actually, because I've travelled to the southwest on holidays several times over the years, and every time we go on the itinerary is a visit to Clark's Village, and we take the dogs with us, and it's absolutely lovely to be able to spend the day with them. So, Chris, how many of the shops are dog friendly, and how many are not? Is it predominantly food shops that are not dog friendly?
No, actually, it's a good mix, to be honest. We've got about 80% of our shops and restaurants are dog friendly. So, cafes. We've recently opened a restaurant called Bill's. They've actually got their own dog menu, which is incredible. So really encouraged. I think the guys that own Bill's, they're very dog friendly themselves. I think they've got pictures of their dogs up on the walls in the actual restaurant. So it's a really good mix of both retail and cafes and restaurants, really. So, you're not kind of stuck with just having to do retail. You can stop and have a coffee. There's just kind of no restrictions, really, which is great.
It is marvellous. I note that a lot of the shops are obviously big brands. How does the conversation start with them when they join Clark's Village? I assume many of them, their general policy in their stores is not dog friendly, although I'm pleased to say that a lot are becoming dog friendly. Does it cause a problem at all?
No, not really, to be honest. I think we're very honest right from the start. I mean, the good thing is, I'd say probably about 99% of our brands that are looking for a home at Clark's Village will come and visit us first. So they'll have a good wander around the centre. They get a really good feel for the environment and the guests that we have here. So obviously they'll be engaged with dogs right from, when they visit. A lot of our brands actually have dogs themselves, so appreciate the fact that, we are an open environment for everyone. Obviously you'll get some brands that would prefer dogs not to come into their stores, and that's totally their choice. We will give them the stats about how many people visit the centre and where they come from and the travel times, etc., and the potential opportunity of spend for dog owners. And then obviously it's their choice, and we respect that. But we're quite, we're very happy that we've got, at least 80% of our shops and restaurants are dog friendly, which is amazing.
It's brilliant. Yeah. And what are the challenges around a centre being dog friendly, Chris? Do you get complaints from people who don't like dogs?
Yeah, I was thinking about this earlier on actually, and actually, I mean, I touch wood, but I've been here 10 years now, and I've dealt with a lot of different situations within the centre, as I'm sure you can imagine, and like very rarely is it dog related. And specifically when you consider how many people bring their dogs here. So we're very fortunate. I mean, I think as a dog owner myself now, I think most dog owners are very considerate to other people and people that perhaps aren't dog friendly or aware of dogs that much. Dog owners clean up after themselves pretty much, albeit our housekeeping team and guest service teams always carry some dog bags around with them just in case. And, we kind of, we have dog bowls out. We'll have people giving dogs treats if they need to. So no major problems really. I think the thing that we need to continue to do, and some of our events kind of support this, is just continue to educate our guests around dogs and the breeds of dogs. And the one word of advice that I would always give within the centre is to make sure that you speak to the owners of the dogs before you approach the dog, and smooth the dog. One story I had was I was wandering to Pret to get my coffee one morning, and there was a huge bull mastiff sat outside with his owner having a coffee, and it was an incredible dog, and I just had that urge to go up and say hello. And I spoke to the owner, and he said he's not really friendly with males, so quite likes female attention but not male attention at all. So I kind of said, absolutely, totally understand it. But actually the bull mastiff jumped up and came over to say hello. So it's just one of those. But I would always recommend just speaking to people before you actually approach the dog.
Yeah, and it's good, as you say, this is a thing we're often promoting or talking about. Well, actually, a lot of the problems aren't the dogs; they can be the owners. But it's good to just reiterate that. And do brands change their dog policy at times, or is it when they come in and they decide they're going to be dog friendly, it hardly ever changes?
It doesn't, yeah, it doesn't really change, to be honest. We had a sort of more designer leather brand chat to us, I think it was last summer actually, about the fact that they were dog friendly, but they was considering not staying dog friendly forever, just because of the price of their product really. And we had a bit of a chat with them and just said, look, I think a lot of it is about just actually talking to the guests that do have dogs and just kind of making them aware of the environment that they're in and the fact that there's very expensive product. And they've continued to stay dog friendly, which is amazing. And I think it's just mostly about the interaction with the guest as opposed to any issues.
Chris, do you think Clark's Village and outlets have more advantages than traditional high street shopping centres?
I would say so. Yeah, I would definitely say so. I mean, we're more of a destination, as I'm sure you're aware. So, you kind of, it's not just kind of popping down to your local high street, albeit we do have that 20-minute catchment that kind of uses as a high street, I would say. But, guests, whether they have dogs or not, they can come here, they can do some retail therapy, they can meet up with friends, they have the environment that they can go and have a good old wander around. We've got trees that are over 130 years old. We've got buildings that are kind of 70, 80 years old. We've got the old Clark's chimney from the manufacturing days and everything. So there's a lot more to do than just retail. So I think that definitely helps create more of a destination. And then, kind of throw in some of our summer events like the Pawse and Pooch event and Christmas events into that as well. Definitely helps us as a destination over, your typical kind of high streets.
Chris, Clark's Village holds an annual Pause and Pooch event for guests. Can you tell us what this involves and how many people come to the event?
Yeah, absolutely. So last year was year 2 of our Pause and Pooch event. Incredible event. Yeah, like we sat down around a table a couple of years back, strategizing about what sort of events we should throw. And sort of Pause and Pooch was created at that time. And it was just kind of everyone, it just put smiles on everyone's faces. A lot of the management team have dogs themselves. So obviously we were very engaged with this. Great year 1, really incredible to kind of see the actual visits from dog owners and people that just like watching dogs do their thing. And then year 2 was just something else. It was just a whole next level step up. So I think over the course of the weekend, we had about 20,000 visitors, so I'm sure you can imagine that was hundreds of dogs over the course of 2 days. We had photo shoots, we had pampering sessions for dogs, we had trick and agility sessions, we had a huge artisan market designed solely towards dogs. We had guide dogs as well. I remember sitting in a meeting sort of spring last year and saying, yeah, great to have the guide dogs there. They'll be able to set up a tent and, rattle some pots and make some money for the charity, which is an incredible thing to do. But actually, they went far and above and beyond, and they brought their trainers with them. They had dogs with them. They set up like an agility course and really kind of taught the public how to work with dogs and showed the exceptional talents that guide dogs hold. So yeah, it was an incredible session for us, and I was actually on working that weekend. So it was brilliant to see the smiles on everyone's faces, dog owners and non-dog owners. It was just incredible.
This kind of sounds like quite close to the dog festivals that are becoming bigger and bigger each year, doesn't it?
Yeah, I really do see this just growing in size, to be honest. I mean, year 1, we just had it in our central gardens. Year 2, last year, we managed to rent some space off of our neighbours, which was amazing. So that allowed us to branch out and do the agility session for the dogs and tricks and everything and put on a real show. And then they also had trainers there, so you could take your own dog there and get them to do tricks. And yeah, it was incredible, but it will continue to grow and people will sort of be aware of the fact that this event will be on every year and will want to come back and see more stuff.
Yeah, I think we just need to remind ourselves to tell people about it through DogFriendly as well. Part of it is a Porfic portrait competition, and as part of this, I understand that guests get free photo shoots of their dogs, and then they're entered into the competition to win the coveted Canine Executive Officer role. And Kareen is the owner of last year's winner, Dudley. So, Kareen, tell us a little bit about Dudley, and thank you for coming.
Hi, thank you for having me. Yeah, Dudley is a 5-year-old Hungarian Vizsla. He came into rescue when he was 9 weeks old with a deformed leg that just couldn't be saved. So it was amputated the following week when he was 10 weeks old. And I fostered him the night of his surgery. Literally the first time I ever met him was when I picked him up from the vets minus a leg. And he just stayed. He was home. We adopted him within days. The whole family just didn't want to let him go. He's just an awesome dog, and we just wanted to give him a good life. So we kept him, and the rest was history.
You looked after him after the operation, but this is fostering, and then you were able to adopt him.
Yeah. I wouldn't normally. He was the very, very first of my fosters. I've fostered a lot of dogs over the years, and he was the very first dog that he just came into the family. And I think we had a need to ensure that this dog had as good a life as he could with 3 legs. And having never had a tripod dog or a Vizsla, we weren't sure what we were getting. But actually, he lives life at 100 miles an hour. He's just a joy to be with, and he doesn't really do anything different from a 4-legged.
Kareen, can you tell us, did Dudley enter the competition in its first year?
No, he didn't the first year, unfortunately, because we were away. This year we were kind of an accidental entry. We have an assistance dog. My son has a cardiac assistance dog, and we went on the Saturday with him, saw that there was a Hoopers and I've always wanted to try Dudley with that. So we took him down on the Sunday to try the Hoopers and ended up in the queue for the portrait competition. And the next thing I know, he was shortlisted and won.
Kareen, sorry, what is a Hoopers? I'm sorry if I'm very naive about this.
Hoopers is a simplified agility. Obviously, a three-legged dog like Dudley couldn't do normal agility with high walks and things like that. So Hoopers is kind of a dumbed down agility, if you like. It's better for their joints and it's easier for them to do. So I'd always wanted to try him with that, and actually he smashed it. So yeah.
So what do you think made him this year's winner?
Well, it was a public vote, so I think the three-legged thing had quite impact. I think that probably swung it for him.
Because he's been doing so well, everybody's, cheers him on.
I mean, he is a great advocate for disabled dogs because he has a huge character. He's very well known for silly faces and loving life and living life at 100 miles an hour. He's very well known for giving me heart attacks when he's running down the side of a cliff, but he's just a really good advocate for disabled dogs. And actually for disabled people as well. I have a friend who's got an amputated leg, and he absolutely loves seeing Dudley out running and playing with four-legged dogs.
Yeah, he sounds brilliant. So how long, Kareen, have you been going to Clark's Village?
Well, I was one of the retail managers in 1993 when the village opened.
Wow.
So yeah, I've been with the village the whole way through. But I left, I think I was there probably 5 or 6 years before I went on to something else. And now I'm just purely a visitor these days.
And why do you think it's so good for dogs? What you encourage other people to go with their dog?
Always. I recommend it all the time. There's much more to being dog friendly than simply whacking up a dog's welcome sign. Clark's Village, for me, it's the blueprint of safe dog friendly. It's a great space, but more than that, it's a safe space. It's a space that's been used really well. Beautiful gardens, lots of areas to wander around, but there's also lots of areas that you can kind of escape to. So if one of you wants to go off visiting the shops, but you have a dog that's maybe a little bit reactive, you might want to just go and sit quietly in the gardens with a coffee. You're able to do that. Lots of big planters and low walls around the place that you can kind of avoid head-on meetings between other dogs and things like that. So it's a really well-designed space and a beautiful place to be. I mean, I live in Street. I'm 5 minutes walk away. I did all of my assistance dogs training down there because it's a perfect place to do that. But it's also a really nice space sometimes just to go out and grab a coffee and sit in the gardens. So yeah, I would absolutely recommend it to anybody because it's a really good place to be.
And just on that point you said, which it all sounds quite lovely as a place to go shopping, really. But you did your assistance dog training down there. So is this you do that with somebody training you? So we say, where's a good place that there's a bit of space, but it's not too open? Is that why you chose there?
No, I mean, part of an assistance dogs training, where I've been working with foster dogs, I work with quite difficult cases sometimes. And Max came into me as a 4-month-old foster in very, very poor condition, but he very quickly showed us that his temperament was perfect to work as an assistance dog. And my son, who's a cardiac patient, needed an assistance dog. So he's self-trained, which you are absolutely allowed to do in the UK. But a huge part of training an assistance dog is getting them to be very neutral in very busy areas. So shops, hospitals. Max has to go into places and not react to anything or anybody apart from Jack. So being able to walk him into the village, especially on a busy day, and have him walk through very neutrally it's a big thing for a dog to do. But the Clark's Village is a very safe area to start that training. And because we started him so young, so well in Clark's Village, I can take him anywhere and he doesn't react to anything.
Yes.
So
that makes sense now. That makes sense. I totally understand.
Kareen, Dudley sounds absolutely marvellous. Please don't take it personally. I'd love to meet Dudley. Do you and Dudley have any favourite shops that you like to visit when you go to Clark's Village?
I think we would disagree on favourite shops. And I think if you set Dudley free in Clark's Village, he would make a beeline straight for Costa because, as far as he's concerned, Puppuccino's alive. And he'd probably then go on to Weird Fish because the ladies in Weird Fish are always so happy to meet him. And generally, one of them has treats. So that would be the two places he would go. We're very much outdoor people. And I'm not the best shopper, I have to say. But we're very much outdoor people. So for me, Trespass and Barber, Timberland, Tog 24, those are all the places that I would go to.
Yeah, so you have got your favourites. He's tried to. So, Kareen, what does it mean to you that Dudley won the prize, and also what's his responsibilities as being the chief canine officer?
Oh, I mean, it's a huge honour. What an honour to be able to advocate and be an ambassador, really, for a place that we really enjoy spending time at. And also for a place that we really believe is a really good place to be and a really well designed place. So yeah, it's a huge honour, and it's a great honour for Dudley to represent rescue dogs. Pause for thought, the rescue that he came from, and all smaller rescues. He's a great advocate for those things, and what's happened with Clark's Village has allowed us to showcase that. So yeah, it's a massive honour for us, and we're really enjoying it. As far as he's concerned, I mean, I think his responsibilities are probably testing puppuccinos and saying hi to as many people as he'll possibly manage in a day. But yeah, for me, it's all about. I'm just happy that he's having a ball doing what he's doing and showing everybody just how very friendly Clark's Village is.
I think it's really good. Just the connection to keep promoting dog friendly through a face such as Dudley, who's got quite a story to tell.
Yes, yeah, he's a big personality in a small red dog.
Chris, I assume there is another Pawsome Pooch event this year. Do you think this is a key thing to promoting the outlet being dog friendly, and would you recommend other shopping centres do something similar?
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely gonna do another Pawsome Pooch event this year. So this will be year 3. I certainly kind of knew that once we'd done year 1, that this would just be an evolving event that we would do every year and just kind of try to see whether we can grow it and get more guests to come down and check out the dogs, but also bring their own as well. I definitely recommend it for other centres and to kind of get involved and do their version of our Pawsome Pooch event. I know that Landsec itself, when we obviously did our sort of feedback session, our debrief almost back into Landsec, it was so well received as a dog friendly property company anyway. All of the other centres were kind of thinking what their version of Pawsome Pooch could be. So that's great. It's getting people thinking along that sort of inclusive line of really bringing dogs inside. So yeah, I would absolutely recommend it. It doesn't have to be huge events. It doesn't have to be, bells and whistles. It could literally just be, just making sure that the centre is as dog friendly as possible. That could be your version of it.
So can you confirm then, Chris, that Clark's Village will be involved in the awards in 2025?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we will definitely be involved for sure.
Brilliant. So it's been great to talk to you both today, Kareen and Chris. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
And we will share some pictures relating to the podcast with Dudley, because I know anybody listening to this will now really want to see him and find out what he's been up to. So, yeah, I might ask you for a few more pictures if that's all right.
That's absolutely fine. He has got an Instagram page as well. He has his own Instagram page.
Oh, please do mention it.
Has quite a following. It's Dudley the Tripod Vizsla.
Okay, so is that just people use the @ sign in front of that?
Yes, go onto Instagram, put in Dudley the Tripod Vizsla, and you will bring him up straight away. So anybody that wants to see him can there. And of course, he does go to the village regularly. So anybody that wants to meet him, come to Clark's Village. You will meet him.
Is there a particular day? Is there a particular day?
No, we tend to take him down during the week. I don't often take him at weekends. Occasionally, we might take him early on a Saturday or a Sunday morning. But if there's somebody that wants to meet us, I've actually had people messaging me to say, we're going to the village at such and such a time. We really would like to meet the Vizsla. So, yes, if you want to meet Dudley, drop me a message on his Instagram. Tell me when you're going. If we can get there, we'll bring him down.
This is brilliant. This is brilliant. Yeah, I'd love you to tell us, if you get any, if people come back on that, that'd be brilliant. So, thank you again. Just to mention, Clark's Village is located in the southwest in Street, Somerset, and it's less than 25 minutes from which junction is it, Chris?
If you jump off at the Bridgewater junction on the M5.
Or off the A303. And if you want more information, do you want to tell them, Chris, where to find out more?
Yeah, so you can find us on the amazing Dog Friendly website, and then also you can find us on clarksvillage.co.uk, and then you'll also see us and also Dudley on many of our social channels as well, including TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. So yeah, check us out.
To find out more about Dog Friendly, the Dog Friendly magazine, the Dog Friendly Awards, visit www.dogfriendly.co.uk.